Hey there, you're listening to Your Life is Awesome, featuring true life stories about sex told by audience members at Smutslams around the world. Smutslam is a growing network of dirty storytelling shows founded in 2011 by me, Cameron Moore. We do our best to keep Smutslam safe, but safe doesn't mean G-rated. Some of these stories are explicit as fuck. If you're not into that, now is a good time to get out. Otherwise, enjoy the show. Hey there, and welcome to Your Life is Awesome. My name is Cameron. My pronouns are she, her, and I am your host on this podcast. So happy to have you here listening. I want to spend a special moment talking about this episode, which was recorded in June 2025 at Villa Kuriosum, our outdoor garden venue for Berlin. A quick word about how that even got started, because most of our slams don't run in the summer. It doesn't seem to be the season, but people do like to be outdoors. And when the COVID pandemic first started, it was the only place where we could have the Smut Slam. So for the first 2 years, we just had our garden season, which started in May or June and ended in September or October, depending on the weather. People just really wanted that year-round smut experience, and we were very happy to have a location that could give it to us. All right, Villa Kuriosum, it's a fantastic location. When we started doing indoor slams again in Berlin, people still wanted the outdoor experience happening during the summer. So now we are just year-round in Berlin until further notice. That seems to be what people want. So it does give a special sort of vibe to these recordings because the wind picks up, or there's honking from the brass band rehearsing across the railroad tracks. The sound, let's just say, the soundscape is a little bit, it's special for these outdoor slams, but we wouldn't trade it for anything. So I hope you can sit back and let those sounds kind of get into your space. That is fantastic. The theme for the slam was magic. We asked for tales of enchantment, excitement, and truly ineffable happenings in people's personal wonderlands. You will hear these magical and, shall we say, less magical stories from our Berlin audience soon. In between the stories, we always have fuck buckets happening. That's where I draw submissions from the audience for anonymous questions and confessions, and that just kind of keeps things moving between stories, and it gives shy people a chance to participate as well in the Smut Slam and help to create the feeling, the vibe, and the content of the slam. So, as always, thanks to all the tellers on this episode for giving us permission to share their stories on our show. For those listening right now, hey, strap in and we'll see you on the other side. I once had sex doggy style on one of the balconies of Kitty. I don't know what that is. That a club? Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm not a regular, so I don't know. Kit Kat. I once had sex doggy style on one of the balconies of Kit Kat, and I lost my fake ponytail from my head and only caught it at the last second before it fell down on the people fucking below us. Lesson learned from it, tuck it in more strongly. Yes, that's a good lesson. That's hilarious. That is one of the least offensive things you could drop in the Kit Kat Club, as far as I know.
I've been in dancing community, Latin dance, bachata mostly. And one thing I have to say is, like, when you have a really great connection with someone, we are so diverse, right? So actually we also express that in the way we dance. So the way we dance with someone can actually be completely different. You can create a good connection with someone, but not at all with another person. So when this connection happens, it's really a magical moment, right? And actually here I have 4 people from our community that can actually say the same. So my story goes like this. There are actually many festivals of bachata around the world. And I was in this one in Croatia, in a place called Rovinj. Fantastic place. It's like a paradise. You have a beautiful sightseeing everywhere. Anyway, so I started dancing with this girl. I'm gonna call her the girl in the blue dress, because why not? Yeah. And so we danced one evening. It was like really sparkles. Everything was fantastic. Even though the levels of, we call it levels, if you're like advanced, intermediate, or beginner, doesn't matter. As long as you have this magical connection, nothing else matters. So we ended up dancing like face to face for like, I don't know, maybe 10 songs in a row. And yeah, at some point you just know, right, that you have to probably ask the number, because in those festivals there are like, I don't know, 3,000 people there, and probably you will not meet that same person again the whole festival. Anyway, I didn't ask for the number. My bad. Yeah, but thankfully on the last day of the festival, she was again there in the blue dress. Obviously, it was short, sexy, beautiful. It was amazing. Like kind of, like kind of dress that tells you there's a demon inside, but from the outside. From the outside, there's like this short haircut, like Vilma from Scooby-Doo, more or less, And yeah, so anyway, we were dancing a lot again that evening, last evening. And at some point, she told me, yeah, I'm really tired. And I was like, yeah, honestly, me too. I would like to go home. But I didn't want to force anything because it was so magical the moment. And then when we reached the front door, there were like, of course, many taxi drivers waiting for you to take them. And I was like, okay, so yeah, would you like to maybe go to my apartment, the one I'm renting, by any chance? I don't know. And she looks at me. Like, I was like, fuck it, why I even ask that? No, I was thinking. She's like, no, don't take it wrong. I want to have sex with you tonight. Yes! But we're not going to your apartment, nor mine. And I was like, well, alles klar, then? So just take my hand. And then she took me to the shore, right? So there's this beautiful shore with a kind of a private beach. There's like this super fancy hotel there that in theory nobody should be there. And yeah, so we arrived to this place. There's like this, I don't know, platform, I could say that, Cameron, maybe, I don't know, with these foldable beds, and there are all these foldable beds like this, and it turns out that obviously there are like some mattresses that you can put on top, and I'm going faster. But all these mattresses were like stacked in a specific place, right? And I was like, okay, with or without? I think with would be more comfortable. And then she told me like, yeah, you take one out, and I'm gonna choose which one, okay? So I'm like struggling to take out the mattress. Finally, when I managed to do it, I was like one hand in the mattress, the other one looking for the condom. And then finally, when I turn around, she's fully naked, like from top to bottom, just looking amazing. And then exactly in that moment, the sunrise. Wow. Because it was like 5 a.m. or so, you dance all night long. I turn around and there's like her silhouette, with the sunrise in the back. And I'm like idiot like this, like I just tried to put a mattress, she held me. And we had this fantastic sex there with the sunrise, right? And then at some point, I heard a little noise in the background. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what is it? When I turn around like this, there's a couple having a drink like this. Then I turn more to the left, and there's the security guard for the expensive hotel looking at us like that. It was so amazing too, because the whole moment was like if they were also experiencing the magical moment with us, And that's about my story, guys. Thank you.
Okay, so for the sake of the podcast, I want to recreate those moments here. The couple was sitting there with their resting their elbow in their hand, having a little drink here, with kind of like casually surveying them, like critiquing them, maybe mildly critiquing, like, like assessing the situation. And over on the other side was the security guard just standing there being like, very casual about it, right? Extremely casual, and they were all having a cinematic moment, but you were in the movie and they were watching the movie. Is that what it feels like? Yeah, okay. What? Okay. That is, I think I have seen that movie, maybe. Aphrodite rising from the ocean waves or some shit like that. I'm a railway fan, and I like to take train photos as a hobby. I've been flirting with a train fetishist who sees my photos as sexual. Now I have more motivation to take train photos. Correct. Your life is awesome. Like, we talk about Rule 34 like it's some kind of diss on, like, you know Rule 34, if you can talk about, there's a porn for it, right? Like, we talk about, like, oh, that's so sleazy and bad, but actually it's a hopeful thing. It's a joyous thing. Any fucking thing you want to nerd out about, somebody else is watching you uncork your sauerkraut, and they're going, yeah, look at those bubbles. For example.
So I'm in LA as a little baby sub, and I match with a screenwriter who happens to be very creative at writing scenes. And on our 4th play date, he says, we're going to meet on Sunday. I'm going to pick you up at 11, but I'm not going to tell you where we're going or what we're doing. And I was like, it has something to do with the church. He's like, I'm not telling you. So I'm like, well, what do I wear? He's like, sturdy underwear. You might want to wear pants as well, just in case. I was like, okay.
What?
So I wear my sturdiest underwear, and he says, but look like you are going to be going somewhere nice, look respectable. Definitely a church. So he picks me up, and we drive for about 45 minutes to Pasadena. And I'm like, when are you going to tell me where we're going? He's like, you'll figure it out. And I was like, is it a church? He still won't tell me. We pull up into a parking lot, and he hands over a remote control vibrating set of underwear. And he says, like, put this on inside the parking lot. And I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. We have, like, this sort of, like, matching Ralph Lauren, like, young couple sort of, you know, like, very respectable attire on as we now walk into this Presbyterian church in Pasadena. He just, like, looks at me like he's so excited, bursting at the seams. And I'm like, okay. We get into the church, and every time the choir starts singing, he presses the remote on. And then as soon as they stop. So he's just, like, having fun with this. And then by the time we get to the end of the session, I get to a point where I'm really, really close. And I'm like, this is actually really great. This is so exciting. This is very sacred and profane. And I, like, have my hand gripped on his leg, and I'm looking at him, and I'm sort of, like, whispering, like, yeah, I'm, like, really, really close. And then just as I'm about to, like, let out an orgasmic noise through the church, there is dead silence, choir stop, everyone starts leaving. So he pauses the remote, and I, like, almost, like, scream in, like, frustration and annoyance. So I don't finish, and that was the end of our scene before a very long drive back to the west side, when he had only about 5 minutes left, which was extremely unsatisfying for me. But the hilarity of the church made up for it. Up until this point, I thought that actually maybe, because all of our scenes were quite fast, I thought that this was just going to be the cadence of our lovemaking. And I was very happy to know on our 5th date that was not the case. So the less room there was for creative screenwriting, the more room there was for multi-hour-long sessions. So that's my church story.
Yay! Right alive is awesome!
Oh, thank you.
I mean, you'd have to expect that sort of shit from a screenwriter, right? Pacing, setting, dialogue, cliffhanger ending. I mean, this is all very amazing. Amazing! Just a confession. I am really questioning my queerness at the moment and often feel not queer enough.
There is no such thing as not queer enough.
We understand this, right? Gatekeeping around that. They don't want advice. They're just letting it out there. All right? So, we need to take a deep breath in. And especially if you're queer, your breath right now carries like all that extra queerness on it. So you're going to breathe that queerness back to them. So in case they need a booster shot of it every now and then. Okay? So all the queers in the house and everybody else just keep breathing normally. It's fine. Ooh, the hairs went up on my arm. That's so much queer. Okay. All right. Like, I let people know, like, Smutslam isn't queer, but it's just queer-fronted and queer-friendly and queer everywhere. So, you're gonna get that stuff.
I work as a safeguard at a BDSM party. So I see a lot of things, all consensual things, great things, many things. And this story is about the magic of squirting. Woo! Very lacking enthusiasm. I thought more people would be into it. Anyway, there we go. Basically, our job is to kind of stand around in playrooms and make sure people are abiding by the rules and making sure everybody is safe. But the point of this is it took place at one of our events, and I was looking after one particular room, and I noticed there are 3 couples along the back, along this bench. And this one gentleman is really ploughing and doing his thing. And just like that fountain over there, the girl the person he was with, proceeded to squirt in such a fashion that I had never seen before. And I was wildly impressed. I wasn't the only person that was impressed. The couple next to them were also like, wow, that was cool. And then the guy with them said, actually, mate, can you teach me how to do that? And it turned into a workshop of how to make people squirt. And it was fascinating, but it got to a point where there was a bit of traffic, so I had to stop people coming in. And so he kind of checked with his partner, is it okay if I do this? And he was like, yeah, go ahead. She was blissed out. She was fine. She's like, do your thing. And so first guy A proceeds to teach guy B how to squirt. And lo and behold, once again, whoosh, a fountain, another fountain. It was great. I was learning a lot. And then the third couple, they had also been watching this take place. And I'll give you one guess what the third guy asked the first guy. Can you teach me how to do that as well, actually? And at this point, there was so much water on the floor that I had to stop people from coming in and out. And I was like, guys, give us like 10 minutes. I don't know how long they're going to take, to be honest with you, but I'm going to need to clean this up afterwards. And so again, round 3, he's doing his thing, and it's become like a few more people are coming along, and they're like, and it's like, no, it's this way, and then you do this, and then you do that. Oh, okay, I've got it. And then what happened?
Squirt!
Yes, squirt. So I actually got splashed in the process. I turned around for 1 second just to tell people not to come in, and then I felt something on my back. I was like, don't think about it too much. There's showers at Untertager, so it was fine. Just, latex washes easily as well, so that's not a problem. But yeah, it was a really beautiful moment. We all cleaned up the floor together afterwards, and then I could let people back in and continue their fun. So that's my story on the magic of squirting. Oh,
goodness gracious. So one time, for a little while, I lived a different life in Montreal, and I was helping to run the masturbate-a-thon that was happening there. May is masturbation month, and so we had a masturbate-a-thon for a fundraiser. And one of the participants, so there were some of us cisgendered women there, and it was a lot of gay men, actually gay cis men, there, just like whacking off, just like showing off, right? Like it's very exhibitionist the way that we set it up. And one of the women was in a sex sling, and she squirted so hard it hit the fucking ceiling of the dungeon. And the gay guys were just like, what? Because they didn't have any context for why that would even happen. I went down on someone without even knowing their name. They tasted delicious. See, you don't have to know people to get like really tasty snacks. I mean, this is like great. That's awesome.
Okay, so hello everyone. This story happened or starts like quite some time ago. I was like a baby queer in my early 20s, studying in Amsterdam, and I had a little crush on this person that was in one of my classes. And then this one day, I just moved to the city, and they asked, "Are you also going to this and that party tonight?" And I said, "Yes, of course I am." I had no clue what they were talking about. But then I quickly called my friend, like the one party friend I had at the time in the city, and asked her, like, "Do you want to come with me tonight? There's this and this happening." And she's like, "I can't." And then I gathered all my courage to go by myself to that party with one big mission: to flirt with this person. So I arrive, and they were at the bar. Then they were massively occupied talking with other people. So I was like, "Oh no, I don't think I can do that. Okay, well, bye." And I went out to the dance floor, and then it was a dance floor that was kind of like down in some sort of basement. And I walked down the stairs, and then suddenly my eye was caught by this like gorgeous person. So she was dancing, like she was this goth girl and had these like, you know, like sexy goth girl hands. Very seductive. And I was captivated. I was hypnotized by her movements, and it was like there was like this glow around her. It was like, well, pretty magical, this part. So I just walked up her. We started to dance together, no words exchanged. We started making out, all very beautiful. And then I had my like little lesbian vampire wet dream satisfied. Started biting my neck. She wasn't afraid to dig her nails in my back. This all still happened at the dance floor, just for the record. We obviously went to her house after the party. We had a wonderful one-night stand. It was very hot, very intimate, very, more biting, more nails, more everything. Some amazing orgasms, and I went home after, and I think I got her number, but I was way too nervous about like contacting her again. So anyways, it was like a beautiful one-night stand memory. Then 1 year later, I meet my 1 year later, I meet my first long-term girlfriend, and guess what? Who's one of her friends, who is in her friend circle? This person. And now this is not the magical part, because that is just like small queer Amsterdam where this happens. This is part of everyday life. This happens all the time. But then, okay, so she's part of my circle then. We see each other maybe once a year. She'd moved to a different city by then. When we see each other, we sometimes make out, but nothing else happens for some time, until like this one time my birthday turns into an orgy and we fuck. But still, it wasn't. That's a different theme, so I'm gonna leave that story for now. And then, well, anyways, me and the girlfriend break up, like lots of stuff happens, pandemic happens, and I start to like think about some people I didn't see in ages because this stupid pandemic was in between. So I contact, let's call her Lou, so the person from the party, I contact her again on Instagram, like, okay, well, you know, hey, what are you up to? How are things going? And we exchange a lot of messages, and very casual, and then decide to, well, we should take this conversation to an in-person moment. So we agreed to meet. I travel to that other city. I go to her place, and I look around, look in the apartment, and I see all sorts. I see this kind of altar thing with candles and rocks and some piece of paper that is like semi-burned. And I ask her like, hey, what are you up to? And she's like, yeah, you know, there is this, like, I'm kind of getting in touch with that sex magic that I was, you know, practicing. And remember that night 10 years ago when we met? So she had worked in magic, and she had worked in magic again that evening, and definitely that magic worked that night again.
Wait. I want to make sure I'm not I want to make sure I'm not missing the subtext. Was she working a spell to bring you back into her life, or just?
So she did spells the
Yes.
first night we met.
Yes.
And then she did a spell again. Oh, yeah.
The first night that you met, she did a spell that involved you somehow, and then 10 years later.
Yeah.
Wow.
Context.
You were summoned. You were summoned. Yeah, right? It's not a Dungeons and Dragons game. This is a...
Level 7 spell.
Yeah, we're not doing that. This is magic, baby. Okay. This is totally crowdsourced information. What is one... I want you to shout it out. Don't give me a long dissertation about it. Just shout it out. One sex toy you can recommend. I want brand name and the device, okay? Shout it out as the spirit moves you. Go. Tenga.
For penises.
Hitachi Magic Wand. The Juke by Fun Factory. What is it? Prostate vibrator, yeah. Rambo. What is that, a live action figurine? Okay, so it's a tiny little magic wand version, gonna get in there with the hardcore stuff with a small amount. Okay, yes, anybody else? Satisfyer Rabbit. Dog trainer? A dog trainer. Can vibrate and make sounds. Okay. Anybody else? Satisfier for me, any one of their like pulse pounding business, and I'm not saying that just because they give us prizes to give away. Satisfier. It's all, boom, 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 boom. It's all good, yeah. Yeah, I don't even have to go into that. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. I give away so much of myself at Smut Slam. You all better appreciate this shit. Okay. Okay. Another crowdsource. Go fast. What fruit and or vegetable is the kinkiest? Cucumber. Pomegranate. Carrot. I agree. Carrot. Sorry? No carrot. Asparagus? Raspberry. Grapefruit. Is there a bug on my head? Yeah, probably. Raspberry. Strawberries? Passion fruit. It's right in the fucking name. Peaches. Peaches, yes, but you can't buy them in Berlin the way they need to be bought. The good peaches don't ever make it to Berlin. Anybody else? Okay, there you go. That's the kinkiest. Uh-oh. That moment when you have multiple partners, but none of them are currently in tune with their libido. Everyone wants the party time, but nobody wants the period time or whatever, you know? Like, honestly, yeah.
I have to preface this story with a few details about my background. For starters, I am a native Texan. I was raised Catholic, to start with. I spent a fair amount of my time in the Middle East growing up, before I got to come here. And I spent my college years in the United Kingdom, so I would like to say that I have a very well-developed sense of shame. Which is why the first time I ever got to go to the Kit Kat Club was a very magical experience. So, I didn't really know what I was in for. I end up going there. My partner is there. We have a friend who comes from LA who is probably one of the most adventurous people I have ever met. And he goes, yeah, I'm bringing a partner. You guys should come. We'll drag you along. I'm like, okay. I don't know how comfortable I feel about this, but okay, fine, whatever. It's a club. There'd be dance floors, everything. I get there, and I'm like, I was not prepared for any of this. And so we go. I get introduced to the fact that shame stops at the front door. First thing I see is the person running the garderobe is completely topless with nipple clamps with a chain attaching them. And I'm just like, okay. This sets the tone for the evening, I think. All right, so we go around, we have a few drinks, and then my partner goes, why don't we go try the dark room? I get up there and I'm like, I have never witnessed live fucking before, apparently. Sure, porn, everything else. What person who makes it to their 20th fucking doesn't? But it had me sitting there for a moment going, I don't know how comfortable I am again. And then my partner reaches over and gets me out of my outfit, and I'm just like, this doesn't feel taboo. This feels appropriate here for some weird fucking reason that my very heavily developed sense of shame decided not to answer to. Okay, let's keep going. Now, you also have to understand, at least back then, I don't know if it's still there used to be very powerful black lights in that dark room. And my partner at the time decided to come wearing a completely white dress. And so, my first time having that entire lack of shame just completely removed, I have this beautiful, pale-skinned goddess in a white dress who is just fucking glowing. The only person in the room who is literally radiant. And I'm just like, I could get used to this. This is a fucking magical moment. Thank you.
Gotta tell you, I was expecting something different from that black light story, but okay. That was much better. It was early in the evening. Okay. I had a great time doing doggy. During doggy or doing doggy while getting penetrated. Then I was interrupted by a big fart. That was mine. The happy, comfy bubble cracked. He pulled away. He was drawn away by the winds. I was so embarrassed. Yeah. All right. Round of applause. Rowdy round of applause. No, not for. I mean, yes, I've had a story. Okay. I only need the top. Give the rest of them over to Marc there. Yeah. Not yet. Thank you. I want to hear a round of applause for anyone who's ever farted during sex. Join the club. The rest of you are like, no, I smell like lemon freshness every time. The fuck you do. Okay. Yes, lemony fresh. Some people aspire to that and other people know. Other people know that just isn't always possible. Oh, gosh. Thank you so much for listening and sticking it out to the end. Oh, yeah, to the noisy end with us. I want to give a special thank you this time around again for our outdoor location, Villa Kuriosum, and of course, our local sponsors of the prizes who are Other Nature and The Berliner. So they do a lovely job of supporting our prize pool for our storytellers in Berlin. We love to have them there. If you're thinking this was great, how can I have another episode as soon as possible, please? You might consider joining our Patreon and helping us make some more. The lowest tier on our Patreon is €4 or $4. I don't remember what it is on there. Anyway, it's 4. It's 4 units of your human currency. That is one iced latte per month. Now, we are not making iced lattes from this money that we get. We are absolutely supporting our podcast with this. But for you, that's one fancy coffee less per month. So for this, you get almost 30 extended episodes. You get stories plus fuck buckets that never made it into the regular releases. Plus, you get to listen to the regular episodes a few days early. Ooh, yeah. So you want to go check that out at patreon.com/yourlifeisawesome and join our little Smut Lovers Club. Now, I want to let you know about some upcoming live slams that you will be able to witness, all right? We have Baltimore on July 18th. Baltimore on July 18th with host Diva Darling. On July 21st, I'll be hosting here in Berlin, again, at the Villa Kuriosum. And then August 5th, we'll be back at Boston with host Victor Victrola at the Somerville Armory. Again, that is July 18th in Baltimore, July 21st in Berlin, and then August 5th in Boston. You can check those out at any time on our website at smutslampodcast.com. Go check that out there. We've got some more slams coming up, especially starting in September. So I want to make sure that you stay in the loop. Make sure to follow us also on Instagram. That is where our stories get announced for the whole month on the first of the month there. It's SmutSlamINTL. All right. So either through the website or on Instagram. Make sure you stay in touch. We have lots of shows coming up, new slams happening, and we want you to be there in some way. Make sure you share this show with your friends who you think would enjoy this, all right? If they're not in the cities where we do live slams, they can still always catch us here, all right? So share that love, spread it around, join us on Patreon, and we'll see you next time. Just remember, in all of this mess, your life is awesome.
This has been Your Life is Awesome, a story podcast from Smutslam with Cameron Moore. Produced by me, Marc Seistedt. Music by Sticky Biscuits. A huge thank you to all storytellers featured. All stories are being shared with permission. If you want to help us make more of these, plus get access to longer episodes and other bonus material, please join our Patreon at patreon.com/yourlifeisawesome. If that's not in the cards right now, you can also help by rating and reviewing this show. Look for that option in your podcast app. We might read out some reviews on a future episode. Got a question for Cameron? Write or send a voice recording to smutslampodcast@gmail.com. This too might be featured on the podcast. And if you want to find out more about Smutslam and the code of conduct we use in the shows, go to smutslam.com. All links mentioned can be found in the podcast info. Thanks for listening.